Welcome back to another makeup tutorial. Today we're doing a get ready with me spring is here edition, and I am so happy for the nice weather. I am just so happy that spring is here, and I've done this really easy look. First we're going to prime our eyes with Milani eyeshadow primer. I super sped this stuff up. You guys see this and do it all the time by yourself. This is the LaColors brow pencil and highlighter on one end. This brow pencil is actually pretty okay, kind of waxy. It is pigmented and it does last all day. I had to pause there and sharpen. Taking a spoolie through them too, and we're going to go through and highlight that area with the Rimmel Insta Conceal Trio. Work that around the brows and clean them up. We're using a hard candy stick it to the pore primer, AOA Perfect BB cream, and using that on a beauty sponge. And while we're sponging this on, I wanted to talk about some true crime stuff. Some of you watch my vlogs, and if you did, you might remember one where I said I was really into true crime documentaries, watching that kind of stuff sometimes. There was one that I mentioned that my uncle had dated this lady, and she used to babysit me, and then a couple years later, or a year down the road, she went off and murdered a little boy. And a few days prior to that murder, or well, she aided in the murder, okay? And a couple days prior to that, my nanny actually ran into them at Walmart because, you know, we all knew each other, and she said that she had got married, and my nanny said, well, I guess you'll have kids soon, and she said, I hate kids. And then a couple days later, they were wanted for murder, her and her friend. So I talked about that case in a vlog that I done. I don't remember which one it was or anything, but I did find a documentary on YouTube. I'm going to link it below so you guys can watch it, on her crime. And our little town was also featured on Snapped. Also, I wanted to say they don't give all the details in that documentary. I do know a few that came out probably after the documentary was filmed. Horrific detail. He had carbon monoxide in his lungs, so therefore meaning when they burned his body, they thought he was deceased. Horrible, horrible way to die. All over jealousy. Horrible way to die. All over jealousy. So I'm gonna link that documentary down below. I couldn't find the snapped episode though. So I definitely wanted to share that with you guys, that I'd found a documentary. I already watched it. And Susan Baker in the documentary, if you're wondering, she is out. She served her time. She's out. And the other lady, Stephanie, will spend the rest of her life. She has done all of her parole hearings, and she's going to spend the rest of her life there. She also gave birth to a son in prison, and we all know him and are friends with him. And yes, yeah, so if you're curious about that documentary, I will link it below. And sorry for talking through the tutorial process, but I wanted to share that with you guys. But I always think that's so crazy, and I think back on it, and that's probably one of the reasons why I'm actually into crime docs, is because this lady who later on went on to murder someone was babysitting me, bringing me candies and pens, and all along she hated children. But she was with my uncle for a long time. Actually, they lived together and everything. No signs of anything like that. I mean, she was kind of coerced, or, you know, kind of just talked into it, I guess, but probably the evil was probably always there. And they signed my mom's yearbook. They had a big giant picture of them together in front of the school. I mean, I don't know, it's just stuff you don't see coming. It's horrible. Some people are just right now evil, and you'll probably think that after you watch the documentary. But this was a pretty simple look to achieve, just a few shades. I'm loving this Wanderlust eyeshadow palette. It's so nice, and these this murder and kidnapping was the reason we have the system we have in place today of the emergency cards and ID. When you pick up children who you want them to pick them up, they have to have ID, and though this crime is the reason, it even says on the documentary, I knew this prior to that too, but this is the reason why we have that system in place for picking up our children when others come to pick up our children. Yes. And these false lashes will not cooperate. The left one took me probably 20 minutes to get on, which is just not typical, okay? And I had to fight with that lash, so I tossed them after that because I like the LaColors lashes, but seriously, it just was not happening. And I picked a bright lip for this look, but you can pick anything you want because the eyes are muted, they're kind of glam. Pair any lip you want to with it. We're gonna set that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, a little insight about some true crime stuff, and thank you guys always for watching. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, ring the bell if you haven't already, and remember that doc is linked in the description box below. Thank you guys always. Stay tuned for more makeup tutorials. So happy spring is here.